This video features review items for board licensure examination for professional teachers focusing on general education English subject. The following are the topics to be covered. Grammar includes parts of speech, tenses, subject-verb agreement, and sentence patterns and structure. Vocabulary includes word bank, word family, confusing words, verbal analogies, and idioms. Speech and oral communication includes rhyme and intonation and oral communication skills. Literature includes figures of speech, key elements of literature and literary forms, Philippine literature, and world literature. Purposive communication includes nature of communication, verbal, non-verbal in written communication, communication in a multilingual society, purposes and registers. Lastly, technical communication includes nature, definition, and purposes, plagiarism and communication abuse, organizational patterns and technical writing skills, and business letters. Grammar. Parts of speech. Question 1. There is a cup of tea, blank the table. A in, B at, C on, D over. Answer, C on. On is a preposition which is used to express a surface of something. Question 1. Further explanation. The preposition on is used for the following purposes. Refers a surface of something, specifies days and dates, refers TV or other devices, refers the parts of the body, and to refer a state. On the other hand, the preposition in is used for the following. To indicate a location, used while doing something, to indicate opinion, belief, feelings, or others, specify day, month, season, or year, to indicate color, shape, and size. Moreover, the preposition at is used to indicate a place, to refer to an email address, to refer a time, or to indicate color, shape, and size. Lastly, the preposition over is used to indicate movement from one place to another, used to indicate movement downward, used to indicate more than an expected number or amount, or used to indicate a period of time. Question number 2. The Board of Judges chose blank as Miss Philippines for 2018. A. The third beautiful hazel brown-eyed Kapampangan. B. The hazel brown-eyed beautiful third Kapampangan. C. The beautiful third hazel brown-eyed Kapampangan. And D. The hazel brown-eyed beautiful third Kapampangan. The answer is A. The third beautiful hazel brown-eyed Kapampangan. This is because the adjectives follow the correct order that they should appear in a sentence. Question 2. Further explanation. Whether all criteria or few are included in the sentence, generally the adjective order in English is as follows. A. Quantity or number, B. Quality or opinion, C. Size, D. Age, E. Shape, F. Color, G. Proper adjective, often nationality, other place of origin or material, and H. Purpose or qualifier. Hence, the example, the third beautiful hazel brown-eyed Kapampangan, is in correct order. Question number 3. Marlene is finding it increasingly difficult to blank since her big credit card bills arrived a week ago. A. Get on, B. Get by, C. Get back, D. Get along. The answer is B. Get by. This is because get by is a phrasal verb which means to make ends meet or to survive. Question 3. Further explanation. Get on means to perform or make progress in a specified way. Get on means to have a friendly relationship with somebody. Get back means to return, especially to your home. And get along means to have a friendly relationship with someone. Tenses. Question 4. Ed, did you like the movie Forrest Gump? Joy, oh, I blanked that movie. A. Have ever saw. B. Have never seen. C. Have never saw. And D. Have seen never. Answer is B. Have never seen. Since the context of the sentence is in present perfect tense, the answer should also follow the proper format of present perfect tense, which is has or have plus past participle form of the verb. Question 4. Further explanation. Under the table for perfect tenses, past perfect tense is used to denote an action that ended before another action or time in the past. Example, had cooked. Sentence, he had cooked the dinner when the phone rang. For the present perfect tense in which question 4 is under, it denotes an action that happened an unspecified time in the past. Example, has or have cooked. Sentence, he has cooked many meals. Lastly, future perfect tense denotes an action that will end before another action or time in the future. Example, will have cooked. Sentence, he will have cooked dinner by the time you come. Question 5. Brian blanked in San Francisco last Saturday. A. Arrived. B. Has arrived. C. Had arrived. D. Have arrived. Answer A. Arrived. This is because the idea of the sentence is definitely in the past tense because of the time indicator, which is last Saturday. Question 5. Further explanation. Under the table for simple tenses, past tense denotes an action that ended at a point in the past. Example, cooked. Sentence, he cooked yesterday. Present tense denotes an action that exists, is usual, or is repeated. Example, cook or cooks. Sentence, he cooks dinner every Friday. Lastly, future tense denotes a plan for future action. Example, will cook. He will cook tomorrow. Question 6. 5 years of intensive language study are required for second language learners. Aiko blank English for 3 years, but she will need more training to be more proficient. A. Has studied. B. Will be studying. C. Has been studying. And D. Will have been studying. The answer is C. Has been studying. This is because the sentence denotes a present perfect progressive tense and it should follow the format has or have plus been plus the ing form of the verb. Question 6. Further explanation. Under the table for progressive tenses, past perfect progressive tense denotes an action that happened over time in the past, before another time or action in the past. Example, had been cooking. Sentence, he had been cooking for a long time before he took lessons. Present perfect progressive tense, in which question 6 is under, denotes an action occurring over time that started in the past and continues into the present. Example, has or have been cooking. Sentence, he has been cooking for over an hour. For future perfect progressive tense, It denotes an action occurring over time in the future before another action or time in the future. Example, will have been cooking. Sentence, he will have been cooking all day by the time she gets home. Subject-verb agreement. Question 7. Some of the votes blank to have been miscounted. A. Seem, B. Seeming, C. Seems, D. Seemed. Answer A. Seem. In answering questions under subject-verb agreement, always remember that the verb must always agree with the subject. However, in the case of question 7, the subject, which is the word some, is an indefinite pronoun. Therefore, in the case of indefinite pronouns, the verb must agree with the noun in the off phrase. In question 7, the off phrase is of the votes, and the noun in the off phrase is the word votes. Since the word votes is in plural form indicated by the letter S in the end, then the verb should have no S, which is seem. Remember that subject without S must take verbs with S, and vice versa. Question 7, further explanation. Indefinite pronouns as subject can either be singular or plural. Other examples include any, none, all, most. In the case of indefinite pronouns, the verb will depend on the number of the noun in the off phrase. In the sentence, some of the votes seem to have been miscounted, votes is in plural form, then therefore, the verb should be in singular form or without an S, which is seem. In the next sentence, most of the sugar was consumed. The noun in the off phrase is sugar, which is a mass noun. Mass nouns require singular verb. Question 8. Most of the milk blank gone bad. 5 gallons blank still in the refrigerator. A. Have is, B. Has is, C. Has are, D. Have are. Answer C. Has are. On the first blank, the verb agrees with the noun milk in the off phrase, which is a mass noun, which requires singular verb has, while the second blank should definitely have plural verb are because of the exact number of gallons, which is 5. Question 9. If I blank rich, I would travel abroad every year. A. Am, B. Was, C. Were, D. Should. Answer C. Were. The idea of the sentence is in conditional form, which requires plural verb. Question 10. Spot the error in the following sentence. Scrabble, a word game for 2 to 4 players, are played by forming words from individual tiles on a game board marked by a 15 by 15 grid. A. Are, B. Played, C. On, D. Marked. Answer A. Are. The verb are should be in singular form, is, because the subject, which is Scrabble, is singular. Sentence patterns and structures. Question 11. Identify the sentence pattern on the following sentence. Uncle Perry gave Aaron an iPad. A. SV, B. SVDO, C. SVSC, D. SVIODO. Answer D. SVIODO. Aaron is the indirect object and iPad is the direct object. Question 11. Further explanation. Sentence pattern STVIODO includes subject, transitive verb, indirect object, and direct object. Indirect object serves as the receiver of the action of the direct object, while the direct object serves as the receiver of the action of the transitive verb. Example: the supervisor mailed the applicant a description of the job. Subject, supervisor, transitive verb, mailed, indirect object, applicant, direct object, description of the job. Question 12. Identify the type of sentence. As it happens, you are right and I am wrong. A. Simple sentence. B. Compound sentence. C. Complex sentence. D. Compound complex sentence. Answer: D. Compound complex sentence. As it happens is a subordinating clause. You are right and I am wrong are two independent clauses. Question 12. Further explanation. A compound complex sentence contains at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. In the example sentence, with pizza and soda at hand, they studied APA rules for many hours, and they decided that writing in APA made sense because it was clear, concise, and objective. Independent clauses include they studied APA rules for many hours, and they decided that writing in APA made sense. On the other hand, dependent clauses include with pizza and soda at hand, and because it was clear, concise, and objective. Question 13. Which of the following sentence errors is committed by this sentence? In March, Harry was transferred to a new plant in Detroit, then he was laid off in June. A. Run-on sentence. B. Dangling modifier. C. Faulty parallelism. D. Verb tense consistency. Answer: A. Run-on sentence. A run-on sentence denotes two or more independent clauses joined together in a grammatically incorrect way. Question 13. Further explanation. Run-on sentences are two or more independent clauses that are not separated at all or that are separated only by a comma. The following are the ways to correct a run-on sentence which is applied to the example sentence, Mary is studying for final exams. She has not written. Use of end marks. Mary is studying for final exam, period. That is why she has not written. Use of commas and conjunction. Mary is studying for final exams, comma, and that is why she has not written. Use of semicolon. Mary is studying for final exams, semicolon. That is why she has not written. Forming simple sentences. Mary, who has not written, is studying for final exams. Forming complex sentences. Since Mary is studying for final exams, she has not written. Question 14. Being an entrepreneur, one can stay at home, make money, and blank. A. Meet a variety of people. B. To meet a variety of people. C. Get to meet a variety of people. D. Be meeting a variety of people. Answer: A. Meet a variety of people. Meet a variety of people starts with the verb meet, which is in the base form. This is parallel with the other phrases, which are stay at home and make money. Stay and make are also in the base form of the verb. Question 14. Further explanation. The sentence error committed by question 14 is faulty parallelism. Parallelism denotes that ideas of equal importance are expressed in equal grammatical structures. To correct faulty parallelism, one should make equal ideas be in equal grammatical structures. In the examples, I like swimming better than to dive is a faulty parallelism. This is because the verb swimming and to dive are in different format. The correct way is I like swimming better than diving, which are both in the ing form. Vocabulary. Word bank. Question 15. The voters of the poor might seem frivolous to you, but most of the time, they are the ones who change election history. What does the underlined word mean? A. Vital, B. Practical, C. Worthless, D. Significant. Answer: C. Worthless. The contradicting ideas of two clauses and the word change serve as hints or clues of the meaning of the word. Question 15. Further explanation. Vital means important or critical. Practical means sensible or reasonable. Worthless means valueless or insignificant. Significant means important. Question 16. Shilly-shallying is just a waste of time. Decide now before time runs out. The speaker wants us not to blank. A. Decide, B. Hesitate, C. Continue, D. Go ahead. Answer: C. Continue. The words waste of time and decide now serve as hints or clues for the meaning of the word. Question 16. Further explanation. Decide means select or choose. Hesitate means dilly-dally or falter. Continue means linger or last. Go ahead means proceed or go forward. Word family. Question 17. Which of the following does not belong to the same word family? A. Zealous, B. Dedicated, C. Apathetic, D. Committed. Answer: C. Apathetic. Zealous, dedicated, and committed are all synonymous words, while apathetic is the opposite. Question 17. Further explanation. Words can be grouped into families. One family could be similar in form. Example: word, wordy, wording, word list. Other word families may be based on related meanings. Example: synonymous words: lovable, affable, amiable. Words in continuum: obese, fat, plump, slim. Words belonging to the same fields: books, journals, library, novel. Question 18. What do you call this word family? Race, raise, race, race. A. Homonym, B. Homograph, C. Homophone, D. Heterography. Answer: C. Homophone. Homophone means having similar sound. Question 18. Further explanation. Homonyms pertains to words spelled the same but different meanings. Homograph pertains to words spelled the same but different pronunciation and meaning. Homophone pertains to words with the same pronunciation but different meanings, origin, and spelling. Heterography pertains to different letters or sequence of letters representing the same sound in different words. Confusing words. Question 19. In the blank, the youth still value the tradition of manopo. A. Pass, B. Passed, C. Fast, D. Passed. Answer B. Passed. Other words in the choices are not applicable. Question 19. Further explanation. Pass means to move or cause to move in a specified direction. Past means gone by in time and no longer existing. Fast means moving or capable of moving at high speed. Past is the past tense of pass. Question 20. Our cat Nico blank on my laptop after he ate lunch yesterday. A. Lie, B. Lay, C. Laid, D. Lane. Answer C. Lane. Among the four choices, only two options are applicable, A. Lie and B. Lay. Since the context of the sentence is in the past tense, B. Lay is the correct answer. Question 20. Further explanation. The word lie has two definitions. First is to say untruths, and second is be in or assume a horizontal or resting position on a supporting surface. Lay means to put or set down, or it's the past tense of the word lie of the second definition. Laid is the past tense of lay. Lane is the past participle form of lay. Verbal analogies. Question 21. Dove is to peace as to four-leaf clover is to blank. A. Lust, B. Lock, C. Love, D. Liberation. Answer B. Lock. The relationship of the given pair words is symbolism. Dove symbolizes peace, thus four-leaf clover symbolizes luck. Question 21. Further explanation. The following are other verbal analogies linked types. Part of a category, example, wave, gesture. Part of a whole, example, birds, flock. Degree, scorching, warm. Traits or activity by definition, balm, suits. Object and its function, vehicle, transportation. Person and his or her job, vendor, sell. Usual location, trial, court. Question 22. Kind is to cruel as to blank is to blank. A. Happy is to sad. B. Harsh is to painful. C. Miserable is to depressed. D. Compassionate is to caring. Answer A. Happy is to sad. The relationship of the pair words is antonyms. Kind is the opposite of cruel, thus happy is the opposite of sad. Idioms. Question 23. I am used to the same tales, says a man after hearing a news about corrupt official in the country. His statement implies that A. The event is more likely a novelty. B. The event has already been legendary. C. The event constantly happens in the country. D. The event is something considered extraordinary. Answer C. The event constantly happens in the country. It is the meaning of the given idiom. Question 23. Further explanation. What is an idiom? An idiom is a figure of speech established by usage that has a meaning not necessarily deductible from those of the individual words. Idioms are a type of figurative language, which means they are not always meant to be taken literally. idioms express a particular sentiment, but they do not literally mean what the individual words themselves mean. An idiom is a saying that is specific to a language. For example, an idiom in English does not translate to an idiom in Spanish. Example idiom, the grass is always greener on the other side. This idiom does not literally mean that the other side will always have greener grass. There may not even be a literal other side to the subject at hand, or grass for that matter. Question 24. Jenny commented that the idea of morality today has evolved from how it is 20 years ago. You can say that again. Andrew responded. What does his response mean? A. He didn't hear Jenny's comment. B. Jenny's comment is true and he agrees. C. He wants Jenny to clarify what she said. D. He urges Jenny to repeat her comment. Answer B. Jenny's comment is true and he agrees. This is because it is the meaning of the given idiom based on the context. Speech and oral communication. Rhyme and intonation. Question 25. Which of the following underlined words does not rhyme? A. It is so clear. B. That is easy to bear. C. It is the sheer truth. D. Let us sing a cheer for them. Answer B. Bear. Clear, sheer, and cheer have E sound, while bear has an A sound. Question 26. Which among these words has the Z end sound? A. Buys, B. Maps, C. Jokes, D. Laughs. Answer A. Buys. This is because S sound becomes Z when it follows after Y, thus buys. Question 27. Which among these words has the starting voice TH sound? A. These, B. Thank, C. Thing, D. Think. Answer A. These. This is because others have unvoiced TH sound. Thank, thing, think. Oral communication skills. Question 28. Which of the following statements or questions expresses a teacher's concern to students' understanding of a lesson? A. Did you get me right? B. Everything was covered, wasn't it? C. Where did you miss me? At what point? D. Raise your hand for further explanation. Answer C. Where did you miss me? At what point? This is because the other choices are close-ended questions or statements, meaning that the teacher did not anymore give chance to students to specify their questions or concerns. Question 29. To gain attention of the audience, the trick is to blank. A. Start low, speak slowly. B. Start high, speak loudly. C. Start high, speak rapidly. D. Start low, speak hurriedly. Answer C. Start high, speak rapidly. Starting high gets people's attention, but speaking loudly might frighten others. Question 30. You want to communicate that you empathize with your student who feels maltreated by his parents at home. Which statement should you not say to create mutual trust and understanding? A. I would feel the same in your situation, but we will sort this out. B. I know how frustrating it can be. Let's see how can I help you. C. I advise you go home and talk to your parents about how you feel. D. Can you tell me a little more about it, please? Answer C. I advise you go home and talk to your parents about how you feel. This statement is not sympathetic as it does not offer help and does not show concern. Question 31. All except one statement would assure a parent that you will look into his or her child's problem about getting unexpectedly low grades in class. A. This should be fixed before the week ends. B. I can see where the problem is, sir, madam. C. What I am currently doing to help you is. D. I appreciate your bringing this to our attention, but I cannot do anything anymore. Answer B. I appreciate your bringing this to our attention, but I cannot do anything anymore. This statement is not sympathetic and does not offer concern. Literature. Figures of speech. Question 32. Which of the following lines is an example of hyperbole? A. And miles to go before I sleep. B. Of easy wind and downy flake. C. He will not see me stopping here. D. The miles are lovely, dark, and deep. Answer A. And miles to go before I sleep. This denotes exaggeration and is therefore a hyperbole. Question 32. Further explanation. What is a hyperbole? Hyperbole is a figure of speech which exaggerates an idea so vividly. Example, he was so hungry, he ate that whole cornfield for lunch, stalks and all. Question 33. Which line does not represent a figure of speech? A. This is the end. B. I live alone like the pith in the tree. C. In one ear, the spider spins its web. D. My teeth rattle like the keys of a musical instrument. Answer A. This is the end. Unlike the other sentences, this only express a literal meaning. Question 33. Further explanation. The sentence, I live alone like the pith in the tree, is a simile, which is comparing things with the use of as or like. The sentence, in one ear the spider spins its web, is a personification, which means giving human qualities to an object, an animal, or an idea. The sentence, my teeth rattle like the keys of a musical instrument, is also a simile because of the use of the word like. Question number 34. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. This statement from Aristotle implies that A. Pursuing education means one would experience hardships but will definitely achieve success in his career. B. Education is the reason why a man's life will be more of sufferings. Happiness is due to be achieved after. C. Education causes people to lose their happiness in their life as they study, but will achieve true happiness at the end. D. Someone who wishes to educate himself or herself will definitely experience downfall in one's life, but will surely feel avenged after it. Answer A. Pursuing education means one would experience hardship but will definitely achieve success in his career. Other statements express different meanings. Statement B is wrong due to the idea that education is the reason why a person would experience more suffering. Statement C is also wrong as education is not a reason for someone to lose his or her happiness. Lastly, statement D is also wrong as education does not really lead people to downfall. Key elements of literature and literary forms. Paragraph 4, question 35. Question 35. What type of creative nonfiction is presented in the given text? A. Memoir, B. Biography, C. Autobiography, D. Literary journal. Answer A. Memoir. Memoir is more concerned with emotional truth towards a particular section of one's life and how it makes you feel now. Question 36. Further explanation. Memoir. A memoir is a collection of personal memories related to specific moments or experiences in the author's life. Told from the perspective of the author, memoirs are written in first-person point of view. The defining characteristic that sets memoirs apart from autobiographies and biographies is its scope. While the other genres focus on the entire timeline of a person's life, memoirs structure themselves on one aspect, such as addiction, parenting, adolescence, disease, faith, etc. They may tell stories from various moments in the author's life, but they should read like a cohesive story, not just a retelling of facts. Autobiography. Like a memoir, an autobiography is the author's retelling of his or her life and told in first-person point of view, making the author the main character of the story. While a memoir is limited in scope, an autobiography details the author's entire life up to the present. An autobiography often begins when the author is young and includes detailed chronology, events, places, reactions, movements, and other relevant happenings throughout the author's life. Biography. A biography is the story of events and circumstances of a person's life, written by someone other than that person. Usually, people write biographies about a historical or public figure. They can be written with or without the subject's authorization. Since the author is telling the account of someone else, biographies are always in third-person point of view and carry a more formal and objective tone than both memoirs and autobiographies. Journal. A journal is an account of day-to-day events or a record of experiences, ideas, or reflections kept regularly for private use that is similar to but sometimes less personal than a diary. Paragraph for question 36. Question 36. Which of the following literary elements are used in the text read? A. Storytelling or narration, dialogue, setting, and scene. B. Storytelling or narration, theme, figurative language. C. Storytelling or narration, character, plot, and structure. D. Storytelling or narration, figurative language, point of view. Answer D. Storytelling or narration, figurative language, point of view. Other choices have elements not used in the text. Paragraph for question 37. Question 37. Which among the following literary devices is most effective in delivering messages of the text? A. Theme, B. Dialogue, C. Narration, D. Point of view. Answer D. Point of view. Theme and dialogue are non-existent in the text, while narration is very much limited in the paragraphs. Philippine literature. Question 38. I prefer a government run like hell by the Filipino. This quote by Manuel Quezon means, A.
Answer
Filipinos are
B.
not good
Filipinos
leaders.
can better
B.
run their
Filipinos
country.
can better run their country. C. The Philippines should be governed by foreigners. D. Filipinos should depend on foreigners for good governance. Other choices express different ideas as to the context of the statement. The line is from the speech of President Quezon on civil liberties on December 9, 1939, where he said that he preferred a government of and by Filipinos because however bad a Filipino government might be, we can always change it, which dovetails neatly with Quezon's insistence that the Philippines and Filipinos were ready for full-fledged independence and democracy. Question 39. The Filipino is worth dying for. This is a quotation by A. Jose Rizal, B. Benigno Aquino, C. Carlos P. Garcia, D. Fidel V. Ramos. Answer B. Benigno Aquino. Other choices are inappropriate. Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. was the late senator who fiercely opposed the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos and whose assassination sparked the People Power Revolution of 1986. Aquino's famous quote, "The Filipino is worth dying for," is an excerpt from his 1980 speech. Question 40. The famous work of Francisco Balagtas, Florante at Laura, which has 12 syllables in each line, is called blank. A. A corrido, B. An awit, C. A haiku, D. An epilogue. Answer B. An awit. An awit is a type of Filipino poem consisting of 12-syllable quatrains. It follows the pattern of rhyming stanzas established in the Philippine epic Passion. Question 40. Further explanation. Awit and corrido. Corrido is the generic name for Philippine romances. In Tagalog literature, an awit is distinguished from the corrido basically by the number of syllables in each line. The corrido refers to metrical romances in octosyllabic or 8-syllable verse called hakira, while the awit is in dodecasyllabic or 12-syllable verse called plosa. Haiku. Haiku is a rhymed poetic form consisting of 17 syllables arranged in 3 lines of 5, 7, and 5 syllables respectively. The haiku first emerged in Japanese literature during the 17th century as a terse reaction to elaborate poetic traditions, though it did not become known by the name haiku until the 19th century. Epilogue. The appendix or supplement to a literary work, and in particular to a drama in verse, is called an epilogue. The epilogue should form no part of the work to which it is attached, but should be independent of it. It should be treated as a sort of commentary. Sometimes it adds further information with regard to what has been left imperfectly concluded in the work itself. World literature. Question 41. The dilemma that Hamlet is referring to in his to be or not to be soliloquy had to do between choosing blank. A. Suicide and murder. B. Killing himself or killing Ophelia. C. Killing Claudius and avenging his father. D. Suicide and acceptance of life's sea of troubles. Answer A. Suicide and murder. Other choices express different ideas. To be or not to be is the opening phrase of a soliloquy given by Prince Hamlet in the so-called nunnery scene of William Shakespeare's play Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. In the speech, Hamlet contemplates death and suicide, bemoaning the pain and unfairness of life, but acknowledging that the alternative might be worse. Question 42. In Homer's Iliad, the Trojan War was begun to blank. A. Defeat the Greeks. B. Return the wife of Menelaus. C. Defend the royal claims of Achilles. D. Return Persephone to the underworld. Answer B. Return the wife of Menelaus. Other choices express different ideas. According to classical sources, the war began after the abduction or elopement of Queen Helen of Sparta by the Trojan prince Paris. Helen's abandoned husband Menelaus convinced his brother Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, to lead an expedition to retrieve her. Question 43. In English literature, Beowulf is an example of this genre. A. Epic, B. Legend, C. Ballad, D. Short story. Answer: A. Epic. An epic is a long narrative poem which is usually related to heroic deeds of a person of an unusual courage and unparalleled bravery. Question 43. Further explanation. Epic. An epic is a long narrative poem recounting heroic deeds, although the term has also been loosely used to describe novels such as Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace and motion pictures such as Sergei Einstein's Ivan the Terrible. In literary usage, the term encompasses both oral and written compositions. Legend. A legend is a traditional story or group of stories told about a particular person or place. Formerly, the term legend meant a tale about a saint. Legends resemble folk tales in content. They may include supernatural beings, elements of mythology, or explanations of natural phenomena, but they are associated with a particular locality or person and are told as a matter of history. Ballads. Ballads tend to be narrative poems, poems that tell stories as opposed to lyric poems, which emphasize the emotions of the speaker. Short story. A short story is a brief fictional prose narrative that is shorter than a novel and that usually deals with only a few characters. Purposive communication. Nature of communication. Question 44. The process of communication mainly involves the following components: a sender, a channel, a receiver, and a feedback. Which among the following does not correspond to this premise? A. The receiver finalizes the communication process by interpreting and assigning meaning to the message. B. Channel is a medium that the sender uses to transmit the message, which exclusively take a verbal form. C. The sender is responsible for crafting and initiating communication process by developing an idea into a message. D. A critical component. Feedback ensures that the message is properly established and interpreted by party concerned. Answer: B. Channel is a medium that the sender uses to transmit the message, which exclusively take a verbal form. The wrong idea in sentence B is that messages are exclusively in verbal form, because messages can also be in non-verbal forms. Question 44. Further explanation. Sender. The sender or encoder is a person who sends the message in contrast to the receiver. A sender makes use of symbols, words, or graphic or visual aids to convey the message and produce the required response. Receiver. The receiver or decoder is a person for whom the message is intended, aimed, targeted, in contrast to the sender. The degree to which the decoder understands the message is dependent upon various factors such as knowledge of the recipient, their responsiveness to the message, and the resilience of the encoder on the decoder. Channel. It is the way of exchanging or transmitting the message. For instance, a small group of people chooses a written medium to convey the message, while people chooses an oral medium when spontaneous feedback is required from the recipient, as misunderstandings are cleared then and there. Message. The message seems like a key idea that the sender wants to send or to communicate with the receiver, so it must be ensured that the main objective of the message is clear and understandable. Question 45. Noise, in the process of communication, pertains to anything that hindrances and interferes with the communication process. Noise includes things like hunger, fatigue, headache, stress, or anything that prevents one from giving his or her full attention to someone sharing his thoughts. What type of noise is this? A. Physical noise. B. Physiological noise. C. Psychological noise. D. Psychosocial noise. Answer B. Physiological noise. Physiological noise is any distraction due to a physiological function that interferes with communication, example of which include hunger, fatigue, headache, pain, and physiological effects from medicine that affect the way you think or feel. Question 45, further explanation. Physical noise or environmental noise, the sound created from the environment. For instance, raining sounds, thunderstorms, horns, outside buildings sounds, also sounds from fans, lights, and windows are the best example of environmental noise. Psychological noise, interrupt with our mind. People don't like to listen or talk about those topics that make them down or any type of sensitive issues like religious, ethnical, political, and so on. Physiological noise. Usually, physical illness produces physical noise. For example, deafness, blindness, talking too fast or slow, and so on. Psychosocial noise is not a type of noise. Question 46. President Rodrigo Duterte delivered his State of the Nation address on July 23, 2018. What type of communication is this? A. Mass communication. B. Public communication. C. Interpersonal communication. D. Organizational communication. Answer B. Public communication. Public communication is where sender is focused and typically occurs when one person conveys information to an audience. Question 46, further explanation. Mass communication. This refers to the communication originating from one source and meant for all possible audience, irrespective of distance, caste, creed, religion, nationality, and beyond. The mass communication involves use of technology, for it is not possible to carry a message to a very high number of receivers without the use of certain devices or techniques. Interpersonal communication, the simplest form in which more than one individual communicate to each other. Public communication. In public communication, source or messages from a single person will reach or proceed by huge number of audience. But in this communication, there is no mutual feedbacks between source and receiver like small group communication, and it's only focused on speaker. Organizational communication. Communication usually takes place on vertical lines. For instance, a company director is passing on instructions to managers who would be guiding accordingly to field officers and the relevant other field staff. Question 47. Dr. Vergara was invited to an event of a mining company to talk about Philippines' environmental status of the modern day. Being an environmentalist, he is very much against mining since it greatly destroys the environment. Although he is asked to avoid giving his own opinions regarding the matter, when he is asked of an audience about his opinion regarding the matter, he chose to express his own opinions. Which principle of ethical communication did he follow? A. Advocate truthfulness, accuracy, honesty, and reason as essential to the integrity of communication. B. Being committed to the courageous expression of personal conviction in pursuit of fairness and justice. C. Anticipate objections from your listener, follow through on what you say, and communicate a little at a time. D. Accept responsibility for short and long-term consequences for our own communication and expect the same of others. Answer A. Advocate truthfulness, accuracy, honesty, and reason as essential to the integrity of communication. The context of the situation called for the truthfulness, accuracy, and honesty from the concerned person in expressing his opinion. Verbal, nonverbal, and written communication. Question 48. A supervisor of a company was asked to notify his subordinates about the new policy regarding the wearing of uniform. He then asked his secretary to make a memo about this. What mode of communication did he utilize? A. Print, B. Visual aids, C. Face-to-face, D. Teleconferencing. Answer: A. Print. This refers to any written or pictorial form of communication produced mechanically or electronically using printing, photocopying, or digital methods from which multiple copies can be made through automated processes. Question 48. Further explanation. Print. Brochures, flyers, ads, catalogs, reports, memos, or letters are typical examples of print that are commonly used in presenting the ideas to the target audience. Face-to-face. Face-to-face meetings allow you to get more personal and peculiar intimacy with the target audience, for you can easily assess the body language of your listeners. You can demonstrate what you are presenting, and you can use visual aids. Teleconferencing. If you cannot accommodate a big number in the same room, teleconferencing is quite advisable, for it gives you many of the same benefits of face-to-face communications without sacrificing your time and your listeners' time too. Visual aids. Using visual aids will better engage the audience and make your ideas clear to them. Charts and graphs give visual importance and intellectual impact to the ideas you are presenting to your defined audience. Andy is a fresh graduate with a degree on marketing. Before applying for a job, she assures that she wears her best corporate attire, that she looks formal and respectable. Which of the following nonverbal elements is exemplified in this context? A. Posture, B. Haptics, C. Artifacts, D. Appearance. Answer: D. Appearance. One's choice of color, clothing, hairstyles, and other factors affecting appearance are also considered a means of nonverbal communication. Question 49. Further explanation. Artifacts. Human artifacts are the things we possess that influence how we see ourselves and that we use to express our identity to others. They can include rings and tattoos, but may also include brand names and logos. From clothes to cars, watches, briefcases, purses, and even eyeglasses, what we choose to surround ourselves with communicates something about our sense of self. They may project gender, role or position, class or status, personality, and group membership or affiliation. Physical appearance. Physical appearance includes attributes such as hair, clothing, body type, and personal grooming. Across cultures, people credit individuals they find physically attractive with higher levels of intelligence, persuasiveness, poise, sociability, warmth, power, and employment success than they credit to unattractive individuals. Posture. Humans can stand up straight or slouch, lean forward or backward, round or slump our shoulders, and tilt our heads. Mehrabian 1972 believed that posture communicates immediacy and power. Immediacy is the degree to which you find someone interesting and attractive. Typically, when someone from the United States finds someone attractive, they face the person when talking, hold their head up, and lean in. Whereas a reaction to someone they don't like might have them look away and lean back. Power is the ability to influence people or events. In the United States, high-status communicators typically use relaxed postures, but in Japan, the opposite is true. Japanese display power through erect posture with feet planted firmly on the floor. Haptics. Touch in communication interaction is called haptics, from the ancient Greek word haptien. Cultural norms have a strong impact on how people use and perceive touch. Touch conventions vary significantly across cultures and are dependent as well on age, gender, and relationship. In some Arab cultures, it is common for men to hold hands in particular situations. Some cultures have a taboo on touching the top of someone's head, as in patting a child, as the head is considered sacred. Question 50. Verbal or oral communication can be categorized as formal or informal communication. Which of the following does not correspond to this idea? A. Informal nonverbal communications are the casual talks that we do with others. B. Formal verbal communications are limited to face-to-face or actual communications. C. Formal verbal communications include newscasting, reporting, and class discussions. D. Formal verbal communications pertain to speaking activities which are guided with systems and rules. Answer: B. Formal verbal communications are limited to face-to-face or actual communications. Formal verbal communication can also be in the form of written communication. Question 51. The following are the importance of nonverbal communication except for one. A. Through eye contact, it shows one's sincerity. B. Nonverbal reinforces the words that you say through gestures. C. Nonverbal reveals your true feelings through your facial expressions. D. Nonverbal includes the use of the tone of voice where one's emotion is revealed. Answer: D. Nonverbal includes the use of the tone of voice where one's emotion is revealed. The description is more appropriate to verbal communication than the nonverbal communication. Communication in a multilingual society. Question 52. Globalization is a major factor in multicultural communication. Which of the following characteristics one must have to be competent in multicultural communication? A. Cultural respect. B. Cultural awareness. C. Cultural recognition. And D. Cultural acknowledgement. Answer: B. Cultural awareness. Cultural awareness is all about recognizing and understanding that we all have different values shaped by our diverse cultural backgrounds. What we consider to be normal behavior in one country can be entirely different in another. Question 53. This generally compares the communication styles and patterns of people from very different cultural or social structures such as nation-states. A. Interpersonal communication. B. Intersocietal communication. C. Cross-cultural communication. D. Mixed cultural communication. Answer: C. Cross-cultural communication. Cross-cultural communication refers to the attempts that are made to exchange, negotiate, and mediate cultural differences by means of language, gestures, and body language. It is how people belonging to different cultures communicate with each other. Question 53. Further explanation. Interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is the method by which thoughts, feelings, meanings, and ideas are exchanged in a face-to-face setting between two or more people. Cross-cultural communication generally compares the communication styles and patterns of people from very different cultural or social structures such as nations or states. Intercultural communication deals with how people from these cultural or social structures speak to one another and what difficulties or differences they encounter over and above different languages they speak. There is no such term as intersocietal communication. Question 54. In this kind of society, an individual who acts as to achieve personal rather than collective goals would be viewed simply as selfish and disrespectful, and he or she would be brought back into the line and made to understand and accept the value of community and collectively. A. Collectivism. B. Individualism. C. High culture society. D. Low culture society. Answer: A. Collectivism. In collectivistic cultures, people tend to be more attentive to and concerned with the opinions of significant others. They tend to be less direct in conflict situations and often place greater emphasis on harmony. They feel loyalties and obligations to groups of which they are members, the family, the community, the organization, and their work teams. Question 54. Further explanation. Collectivism is the stressed group benefit and overriding value of working harmoniously rather than usual individual personal advancement. High culture society or high context society place a great deal of emphasis on the environment or context where speech and interaction take place. In a high context society, spoken words are much less important than the rest of the context. For example, the relationship between people communicating. Individualism, focusing on the individual person and his or her personal dreams, goals, achievements, and the right to make choices. Low culture society or low context society, people tend to try to separate their relationships from the messages and to focus on the details and logic. Detailed information must be given to provide relevant context, and only the information presented counts as relevant to the messenger. Purposes and registers. Question 55. Messages are delivered because of several purposes. Which of the following is the purpose of the text which follows? There are many reasons why women should not have an abortion. The truth is that women need to think about the consequences that can occur before having sexual relations. I think that the effects of an abortion can be very sad for everyone involved, both for the woman who has the abortion and for the family who lives with her. A. To inform, B. To persuade, C. To argue, and D. To inspire. Answer: B. To persuade. The purpose of the text is more on convincing the readers of the consequences of abortion based on the perspective of the writer. Question 55. Further explanation. To inform. This is your purpose when you would like to communicate certain information like a news, a report, a perspective, a story, or even steps and procedures to a particular setting, whether through spoken or written discourse. To entertain. Whether in oral or written discourse, a communicator's purpose may be to entertain, which means to provide someone with amusement or enjoyment. To persuade. This is to cause listeners or readers to agree with the speaker's or an author's ideas by using emotions and personal ideas. To argue. This means to convince others that your idea and reason are true by defending and providing your point through facts, statistics, figures, and others. Question 56. Excerpt from Marie Curie's speech on the discovery of radium. I could tell you many things about the radium and radioactivity, and it would take a long time. But as we cannot do that, I shall only give you a short account of my early work about radium. Radium is no more a baby. It is more than 20 years old, but the conditions of the discovery were somewhat peculiar, and so it is always of interest to remember them and to explain them. We must go back to the year 1897. What kind of message is the text read? A. Goodwill, B. Persuasive, C. Thank you, D. Informative. Answer: D. Informative. This is because the text is informative in nature as it expresses mostly facts. Question 57. Which of the following registers is used when a public official delivers his oath of office? A. Casual register, B. Intimate register, C. Consultative register, D. Frozen or static register. Answer: D. Frozen or static register. Frozen register is sometimes called static register because it refers to historic language or communication that is intended to remain unchanged, like a constitution or prayer. Examples: the Bible, the United States Constitution, the Bhagavad Gita, Romeo and Juliet. Question 57. Further explanation. Casual register. In a group of friends or acquaintances, no background information provided. Ellipsis and slang common. interruptions common. This is common among friends in social setting. Intimate register. Non-public. Intonation is more important than wording or grammar. Private vocabulary also includes nonverbal messages. This is most common among family members and friends. Consultative register. Two-way participation. Background information is provided. Prior knowledge is not assumed. Examples include teacher to student, doctor to patient, expert to apprentice, and others. Frozen or static register. Uses printed unchanging language such as biblical quotations, often contains archaisms. The wording is exactly the same every time it is spoken. Technical communication. Nature, definition, and purposes. Question 58. Technical communication is part of most careers. Most professionals serve as part-time technical communicators. Which among the following examples does not reflect this concept? A. As an attorney, you will research and interpret the law for clients. B. As a teacher, you will write lesson plans and construct test papers for your students. C. As an employee or intern in the nonprofit sector, you will research important topics and write brochures, press releases, or handbooks for clients. D. As a medical professional, psychology, social worker, or accountant, you will keep precise records that are increasingly a basis for legal action. Answer B. As a teacher, you will write lesson plans and construct test papers for your students. Lesson plans and test papers are considered more of academic documents prepared by a teacher rather than technical communication documents. Question 59. Readers expect to find the information they need and to get questions answered clearly. Instead of long technical passages, the content is presented in short chunks in the form of questions that readers might ask. Which of the following features of technical communication does this statement fall under? A. Reader-centered. B. Accessible and efficient. C. Often produced by teams. D. Delivered in technical and digital versions. Answer B. Accessible and efficient. The keywords short chunks, find information, question answered would lead to the idea that a technical document must be accessible and efficient. Question 60. Electronically linked, our global community shares social, political, and financial interests. Corporations are increasingly multinational, and diverse cultures exist within individual nations. To connect with all readers, technical documents need to reflect global and intercultural diversity. Which of the following statements correspond to this idea? A. An effective communication style in one culture may be offensive elsewhere. B. Technical documents should adhere to the culture of the place where did it originate. C. A technical writer must always consider his or her own culture as he writes documents. D. Corporations have their own work cultures which are reflected on their communication documents. Answer A. An effective communication style in one culture may be offensive elsewhere. Keywords in the paragraph diverse cultures, global and intercultural diversity would lead to the idea that a technical document must be respectful to all cultures. Question 61. One of the main purposes of the technical communication is to inform the readers. Which of the following examples suits this purpose? A. Including the company's tagline in all the documents produced. B. Explaining the proper functions of the features of the new products. C. Convincing customers to avail the products newly offered by the company. D. Indicating that the food supplement the company sells does not have curing capabilities. Answer B. Explaining the proper functions of the features of the new products. The keywords inform readers are more suitable to the idea expressed by the second sentence. Plagiarism and communication abuse. Question 62. Suppressing knowledge the public needs is an example of communication abuse. Which of the following statement is not an example of this? A. The biotech industry continues to resist any food labeling that would identify genetically modified ingredients. B. In one analysis of 800 scientific papers, Tufts University's Sheldon Krimsky found that 34% of authors had research-related financial ties, but none had been disclosed. C. Some prestigious science journals have refused to publish studies linking chlorine and fluoride in drinking water with cancer risk and fluorescent lights with childhood leukemia. D. MIT's Arnold Barnett has found that information about airline safety lapses and near accidents is often suppressed by air traffic controllers because of a natural tendency not to call attention to events in which their own performance was not exemplary or their hesitation to squeal about pilot errors. Answer B. In one analysis of 800 scientific papers, Tufts University's Sheldon Krimsky found that 34% of authors had research-related financial ties, but none had been disclosed. The keywords "none had been disclosed" from sentence B are related to the idea being asked by the paragraph. Question 63. Ethical communication includes giving proper credit to the work of others. In both workplace and academic settings, plagiarism, representing words, ideas, or perspectives of others as your own, is a serious breach of ethics. Which of the following best describe blatant plagiarism? A. It means that the citation formats used by the writer in citing his sources are erroneous. B. It occurs when a writer copies the entire text from a source but uses quotation marks to these texts. C. It occurs when a writer unintentionally copies certain paragraphs from a source, failing to give credits to the original author. D. It occurs when a writer consciously lifts passages from another work, print or online, and incorporates them into his or her own work without quoting or documenting the original source. Answer D. It occurs when a writer consciously lifts passages from another work, print or online, and incorporates them into his or her own work without quoting or documenting the original source. This is because other choices refer to other varied forms of plagiarism. Sentence A pertains to erroneous citations. Sentence B pertains to improper use of quotation, while sentence C is unintentional plagiarism. Organizational patterns of paragraphs and technical writing skills. Question 64. You are asked to write an essay discussing the status of the Philippine economy for the last 5 years. Which of the following should you do? A. Identify the problems with regard to the country's economy and present probable solutions. B. Narrate the events which had a great impact on the country's economy for the last 5 years. C. Compare and contrast the status of the country's economy every year and present reasons for its rise and decline. D. Exemplify causes of the economy's rise and decline through citing companies who progressed and destabilized for the last 5 years. Answer C. Compare and contrast the status of the country's economy every year and present reasons for its rise and decline. Doing such will highlight the status of the country in every year. Other choices are deemed inappropriate. Identifying the country's problem, narrating events, or exemplifying causes of the economy's rise and decline will not track the development of its economic status within the last 5 years, unlike the process of comparison and contrast. Question 65. When writing, the author must consider the appropriate words for the text he is about to write. If the text is a business or an academic text, then the words to be used should be formal and should not be too wordy. If the text is a literary piece, then the language should be more creative and less formal. Which property of a well-written text is being considered by the author? A. Proper mechanics. B. Unity and emphasis. C. Coherence and cohesion. D. Appropriate language use. Answer D. Appropriate language use. The keywords formal and should not be too wordy, more creative and less formal pertain to the idea of the appropriate language use. Question 65. Further explanation. Mechanics. Mechanics refers to the conventions of writing, which include capitalization, punctuation, spelling, numerals, abbreviations, acronym, and contractions. Unity and emphasis. Unity in a paragraph means that all the sentences are related to the topic sentence and its controlling idea. Emphasis is the repetition of keywords and phrases or the careful arrangement of words to give them special weight and prominence. Coherence. A piece of writing has coherence when all of the ideas are organized and flow smoothly and logically from one to the next. When a paragraph or essay has coherence, the reader can follow the main ideas more easily. Appropriate language use. Appropriate language use refers to the acceptable style of language for a particular form of text. Question 66. You work as an executive of an oil company and you want to express your opposition on the company's plan on building a plant on an area on the Sierra Madre mountain ridge. What type of text do you need to write? A. Article critic. B. Position paper. C. Research report. D. Project proposal. Answer: B. Position paper. The keywords express opposition relate to the purpose of a position paper. Question 66. Further explanation. Article critique. A critique is a genre of academic writing that briefly summarizes and critically evaluates a work or concept. Critiques can be used to carefully analyze a variety of works. Position paper. A position paper presents an arguable opinion about an issue. The goal of a position paper is to convince the audience that your opinion is valid and worth listening to. Research report. Research reports present the results of formal investigations into the properties, behavior, structures, and principles of material and conceptual entities. Almost any physical phenomenon or concept may be investigated in a research framework. Project proposal. A project proposal is a document that outlines everything stakeholders need to know to initiate a project. It's a necessary first step towards getting a project off the ground. A project proposal is usually selected during the project intake process. Business letters. Question 67. Your boss asks you to write a letter processing a complaint from your regular customer. Which type of business letter will you write? A. Inquiry letter. B. Appointment letter. C. Adjustment letter. D. Acknowledgement letter. Answer: C. Adjustment letter. Adjustment letters are written to satisfy a client who has lodged a complaint against a company. Question 67. Further explanation. Inquiry letter. A letter of inquiry is a request for information that the writer believes the reader can provide. Regardless of its subject, the objective is to get the reader to respond with an action that satisfies the inquiry. Appointment letter. An appointment letter is a compulsory official document that confirms that an organization has appointed a person for a given job position. The appointment letter goes into enormous detail of what is predictable of new employee and the role they will cooperate in the company. Adjustment letter. An adjustment letter is a response to a written complaint. The objective is to inform the reader that their complaint has been received. It is also a legal document recording what decisions were made and what actions have or will be taken. Acknowledgement letter. A letter of acknowledgement is both a receipt and a public relations tool. Its objective is to let the reader know that items requested in a prior communication, usually an inquiry or an order letter, have been received. Question 68. You are asked by your supervisor to write an urgent letter to the purchasing officer of the company which supplies you materials for your products. Which of the following parts of a letter will help you make the recipient of your letter be immediately informed of the purpose of your letter? A. Attention line. B. Subject line. C. Typist notation. D. Enclosure. Answer: B. Subject line. The subject line is the portion of the letter where one tells the reader about the subject. Although it is not always necessary in a business letter, especially if the letter is brief, it can be helpful as it immediately conveys to the reader the subject of the letter. Question 67. Further explanation. Attention line. The attention line is used to indicate that the letter is supposed to be ready for any particular person or particular department. Example, attention, head of marketing. Typist notation. Initials included at the bottom of a business letter are called typist initials. Some companies require them so that they know who actually typed the letter versus who composed it in order to determine who is responsible for typos, misspellings, and other mistakes that took place when the letter was produced. Enclosure. This reminds the recipients that additional items were included with the letter and what those items were if you include that level of detail. Question 69. The copy notation, which uses the symbol CC, is one of the optional parts of a letter. Which among the following statements best describe its purpose? A. This indicates the higher officials who will approve the document. B. This indicates all the signatories for the concerned document and all other personnel involved. C. This indicates all the personnel who have helped or contributed in the data included in the document. D. This indicates the concerned personnel or offices that are needed to be informed about the concerned document. Answer: D. This indicates the concerned personnel or offices that are needed to be informed about the concerned document. A copy notation, or CC, lets the recipient of the letter know who else is receiving a copy. Other descriptions of other choices are inappropriate. Question 70. The letter that you have received from your boss says that you are designated to be the team leader of the new project your company has. What type of business letter have you received? A. Order letter. B. Claim letter. C. Appointment letter. D. Acknowledgement letter. Answer: C. Appointment letter. An appointment letter is a legally binding document that confirms that an organization has offered a position to an employee. Question 70. Further explanation. Order letter. An order letter, also known as a purchase order or PO, begins the paper trail of a specific purchase. The objective is to provide the vendor with detailed instructions for fulfilling an order. It also serves as a legal record of the transaction and consequently should be written with care. Claim letter. A claim letter is a persuasive letter sent by a customer to a business or agency to identify a problem with a product or service and can also be referred to as a letter of complaint.